how can we build a community that encourages experiences with technology, learning?
That then comes down to personal kind of preference. So if you look at my GitHub, so at the moment on GitHub I've got 75 public repositories. I'd say 60 of those are technology 101, which is kind of like how I do it. So I do Memcache 101, I do rQuery, which is a testing framework 101. Because the whole ambition about what I'm trying to achieve is to do that initial spike. And I do that in a very easy fashion. And I kind of like go, you know what, it's fine not to do production code sometimes. It's fine just to open Visual Studio, whip up a command line and just hack code. Learn a framework. I did this with Castle Dynamic Proxy. I just whipped up a command line and just started hacking code.
Let's talk about Castle Dynamic Proxy. What kind of problems do you solve with Castle?
So we use it we use it for one main reason. So at the moment, I was working with an MVC app, and obviously a lot of the MVC stuff isn't untestable. Kind of main requirements were, one was doing file system, so it's file, just the system.io.file, untestable. No interfaces, no way to inject it, no way to separate it when you're doing tests. The second example would be the server. So HTTP util, that server, HTTP application, some base class, but it's untestable. If you want to inject that into a kind of like other part of the control, it's not possible because it's got no interfaces, static, and it's just untestable. So what I used Castle Dynamic Proxy to create automatically that barrier. So instead of we gave it an interface, we gave it a static class, or we gave it a seal class, or something which we couldn't physically mock out, and we just said, go create us an instance of that dynamically. So our interface directly represents what the concrete class does, and then our IOC dynamically creates that class for us. It means we don't have lots of message dispatching classes just lying around doing bog standard. I take this method call, I'll call it after the same thing. Instead we have this interface which represents what we want to do,
yes,
and the behavior which we want to express, and then in our IOC we'll just go, if you want to express that behavior, then that's the concrete class which will throw that for you.
So you are using Castle for dependency injection?
Yeah, we use Castle Windsor. We use Structure Map for some of the projects. So Structure Map's another open source IOC framework. Jeremy Miller has many blog posts on it. But we use that, or we use Castle Windsor for a lot of the other stuff. So they both solve the same problem. They just do it in a different syntax. They solve it in different ways.
Did you try the AOP features of Castle, or?
We've looked at it. So I was quite keen to promote like the whole thing about adding decorators. So Castle Windsor can add decorators to all of your dependencies. But other people were keen on using PostSharp, and like having PostSharp kind of inject itself into the layers which are needed. Two ways to solve CAP. At the moment we're looking to use PostSharp to doing our logging and doing our caching, because the team is more comfortable with going that approach. They're more comfortable to add an attribute and then let the attribute kind of dictate how the code works, which is fine.
What can we do to have more people using PostSharp? What are the obstacles to adoption now?
Honestly,
Honestly.
Don't have a community version. Rename it to something which isn't community. So for me, community means open source. But post-sharp, it doesn't mean open source. It means a more standardized approach which you can use on any project. It doesn't have to be an open source project which you use it on, if I understand correctly.
Post-sharp used to be open source. In version 1.5 it was still open source. Then we figured out that customers wanted a commercial product, and I was not able to separate open source from closed source, because in the same source file there would be both the open source code and commercial code. So we made it fully closed source because of technical reasons.
Okay.
And yes, the community edition could be named Free Edition or Starter Edition.
If you look, so I used to work at Redgate Software.
What?
Redgate. So we do .NET performance tools. We own Reflector now, and we do SQL Compare, many other great tools. Promoting a company I used to work for. But we do two editions. We do standard or we do professional.
Yes.
Standard is just like a cut down version of the standard tool, and it doesn't have the same features, but they know everyone kind of like more understands the boundaries about where it can be used. Where community, if you look at other companies like Typemark, which do an amazing tool, but their community edition, from what I understand about the license, is just community, like just open source.
Yeah.
I might be wrong in that.
So what is what is your tip here? It is to make the community edition paying, or to just change the name?
Just change the name, because when I heard about the team using PostShop, I was like, hell yeah, that's an awesome tool to use. I was like really passionate, but then I got concerned about the licensing issues about it, where community seems to be open source. If you had another, like, you know what, anyone can use this edition, it's not community, it's actually just anyone, but it's a subset of what you actually can do.
Yeah.
And kind of making that more clear. So yes, you can pay for more advanced features, but the more advanced features are more really advanced, and if you need those, then you should pay for them, which
yes, this is exactly the model. Yes.
Yeah.
So the community edition is a free edition, free to the community, and also there is a heritage of the open source version, because it covers mostly the features of the open source version.
Which is great, but then it gets difficult because it's not open source, because it's closed source.
Yeah.
But you can use it in commercial products, and it's like that. Yeah, then crossing kind of licensing boundaries, and that can scare some people off. And if I look at a product and it says community, it generally means open source community. By definition, I see community as open source community.
Yeah.
But if I can then use that in a commercial product, but it's a very subset of what can actually be achieved, then that opens up a whole new realm of opportunities. Because I can look at PostShop and go, I can do it for logging, I can do it for caching, I can do it for the very basic functionality. Then we get comfortable with the framework because we don't have any fear about the framework, because we're already using it on a day-to-day basis, it's built in the tool. Then when we want to do hardcore kind of AOP stuff, we can go, PostShop would do that. Well, it'd be more beneficial if we use a professional, and then that argument about going to professional becomes a lot easier to manage, because you go, we're already using it, it's a great framework, it solves this many problems, we now want to solve it in this new direction, but it doesn't do that in the free version which we've already used. So let's push forward, let's progress, let's learn from what it's doing, let's progress, and let's solve the same problems in the same way, but it's going to cost us. For me, the team would go, okay, we solved the problem, we solved the simple problems using a free version. Awesome. If we're going to solve the hard problems, then we should pay to solve the hard problems.
Yeah.
Surely that's why software vendors
So are you
work out.
attending the Software Craftsmanship Craftsmanship conference tomorrow in Berkeley.
Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to it. So there's 6 people from 7 Digital. So I work at 7 Digital, online music company, do amazing stuff. And there's 6 people, so that's going to be a really exciting conference. Really looking forward to hanging out with Eden Development, who's this awesome kind of consultancy down in Winchester. And they have got really smart guys. So it's going to be good just to meet with those. One of the guys is doing a session, so it's going to be interesting to interact. There's Matt Wynn, who I know from the London community. He's doing the robot tournament, and that's going to be another exciting session. Obviously, there's yourself, there's other amazing speakers. But for me, it's just like being there. Ignore the sessions, it's just about being with other people who are passionate about producing amazing software. And that's what I want to do. I just want to produce amazing software and deliver value to the end consumer. Tomorrow is kind of like everyone who wants to do that in the same room in Berkeley, which is an amazing kind of like history associated. And it just kind of like brings it all together, and it should be an amazing day.
Yeah, and Berkeley is the birth location of computing, so it will be.
Yeah, in the UK it's got so much history attached, it's just like everyone knows about it, everyone should support, everyone should donate. So obviously there's the ticket goes directly to them, Jason Goldman's done courses which go directly to them. I donated directly to the charity itself. It's just an amazing historical place which everyone should support and everyone should be passionate about. The fact we've got an awesome conference there just kind of tops it off.
So thank you very much, and we'll meet tomorrow in Berkeley.
We will indeed.
We need to wake up very early to get there.
Yeah, that'll be hard.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.